Everybody? 6 o'clock, and we're going to call the Parks and Recreation meeting to order for March 11th, 2024. Please call the roll. Diana?
Charlie?
I'm here.
Scott?
Present.
Leonard?
Present.
Mike?
Here.
And Melissa, Shelby, Bruce, and Benny.
Okay, we've got 4 in attendance, so we have a quorum. You've got the minutes of the February 12th, 2024 meeting in front of you. If you see anything that needs correcting, please let us know. Otherwise, the chair would accept a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Leonard.
No opposed. The minutes are approved. Time frame on the new senior discount. I understand we have 78 people using it as it is right now, and we did have one person that wanted us to consider changing the time on that. We got that information from Councilmember Broderick, is that right? So let's wait and we'll postpone that. We don't have exactly the information that we had from the council meeting. I apologize, I don't have that. So we'll postpone that discussion until another meeting. Moving on to old business, if you would, Blake.
We've got a lot of updates on our projects that we have going. Screen now. Over here, let's see, you can see that the pickleball courts, they've started construction over here. They pulled out and tore out the asphalt parking lot, and they have brought in fill. Now they're setting their forms to pour the concrete. There's also some trees that we've already high limbed. In order to push over the trees, we're going to put a swing set over here at Thornhill Park as well. That's going to go in. That's been ordered with mulch around the, for the fall zone and landing zone as well. Both restrooms are open and completed at Indian Head and the City Hall Park as well. Took a little longer than we thought. However, they're up and going, ready to go. So the staff has finished the floor at the PD substation. That floor was falling in, so we had to tear it out, start over, and put in a new floor, and we've done that. Concrete work, we got a lot of it coming down the park, Store Park, out at the ballpark. We got turning the big PO for the raised kind of crosswalk like we have over here across from the office building that we've discussed. So that should start relatively quick. The golf course, they're now tearing out some old concrete going down on the restaurant side, and that should be finished within the next couple of days. So we got a good jump on that, and it's done. It'll be done relatively quick in the next few days. It's supposed to be done. So pool pump was changed out at the Bill Harmon Rec Center. We still have Stonehill Park swing set to put in. We're going to build the restroom at the soccer complex. We've already met with everybody that we're supposed to meet with that time, the plumber, electrician, concrete guy, as well as our staff to figure out. We got a small building, a little Morgan building we're going to move and then build that restroom out there. New camera systems are in at the Bill Harmon Rec Center and at the Greens, and up next we're going to put one in at the Durand Youth Center. So those are already done. Gym floor, we're going back and forth with contractors on some things. Have not started that at the Bill Harmon Rec Center. Still going back and forth with a few people out at the, and waiting on specs and what we're looking to do out at the ballpark as far as concession stands. We haven't really been satisfied with stuff that's come our way as far as materials that they're wanting to use as well as pricing, so we're waiting on some other things on that to proceed there. The concession stand, the roof, and the exteriors.
Okay.
For the softball and baseball. Pricing's changed from when they quite a bit from when they submitted their budgetary numbers earlier on. So we will see how that goes, and I'll update you on that as well. Putting the plans together at Lake Cherrywood. We met out with a architect as well this week with the new basketball court, restroom, and parking that we want to do out there. So we hopefully may have something to show next meeting as far as what the plans and what it's going to look like. But it's going to be pretty nice. So we're going to hopefully have something to display as to what our intentions are out there. So that's right down the road. So as soon as we get that, we'll bring that here to show y'all where we're at. So apart from that, I think that's about where we are as far as project updates.
The floor at the gym at the Bill Armour Rec Center, is the problem there the pricing? Are they not honoring the original pricing?
No, well, what it was is the original person that put the price in, their price included upstairs, and the price was nowhere near what anything else has been presented to us and the other options that we've looked at, substantially lower. And we were having a hard time even getting the cost back after that. So even though they submitted an extremely low number, we couldn't get on the phone to figure out design, if it was going to include everything that we were wanting it to include, if it taking it all the way down, or if they're trying to resurface. So there was some questions that we had based on the numbers they had, and after talking to a couple other people that came in and gave us some information on the floors as well. So because we have, so if you go in that gym, there's so many areas that have been patched. And what we've ran into with some pickleball stuff, I want to make sure that when they clear all that out, that it's cleaned out, that the patchwork isn't just I just want to check a lot of things.
Right.
And Sean does as well. So we have a little checklist that we want to go through on these projects, and they have not, the original company that put the numbers in, I don't believe we'll do business with. So.
It doesn't sound like it'd be a good company to do business with. Okay.
But
Hey, Blake, you talking about Cherrywood basketball? I thought I remember somebody mentioned something about the Rolling Razorbacks.
yep.
Is that something they have asked?
No,
for?
what we did was they're over here at the rec center, and we see them, weekly, as well as they're going to host a tournament in the next couple of weeks. We want them to be involved with, and they're very excited about being involved and making sure everything's accessible. That if they choose to go have a practice outside, they have the ability to go outside and practice. So we're looking at some seating arrangements out there, some bleachers, and making sure that the goals that we have out there fit the needs of anybody that wants to go play. And so they kind of jumped on board, and we've even talked with ideas once we picked the colors for the court is maybe putting their logo out there on the court. But they're very excited to kind of partner and be able to help us out, and they were very honored that we asked, and it's a pretty cool thing. So
They did come to the public hearing and came and supported it when we had the public hearing.
I was in an event with a former player, and I mentioned that. He goes, "Oh, I didn't know anything about that." I go, "Oh, better be careful. I may overstep what I know."
right, and
I
yeah.
said, "Well, let me find out more, Richard, and I'll let you know." I said, "But I know they were talking about."
Yeah, we've reached out, and we're wanting to have them involved in a few more things that we're doing as well. I think that they can provide some insight that will be very beneficial to us, and I think being involved in the conversations is something they're very excited about being involved in too. So
Thank you.
They've been in Sherwood a long
they have,
time,
and it's absolutely impressive what they do.
a long time.
So
Are you
I
back
came to
high
the
school?
tournament last year.
It's-
It was cool.
yeah, they put in the work. They load up and they ride out, but the skill levels. I mean, Jared can sit out there and just knock down threes like it's
Well,
unreal.
I was a bicycle escort for the Little Rock Marathon, and I escorted the wheelchair guy, and he was 72. He was a former player, and he used that same wheelchair that he does basketball to do 26
Really?
miles.
And this will be the only outdoor, all-accessible court.
There we go, that's what I was.
Yes.
Okay.
I think,
That's why we're not really rushing the design of this. We want to make sure it's done and it's done with the specifications that we want. And we've toyed with the idea of also putting some short, lowered goals on the side. I think we may go away from that, just depending on space out there, because the court and the area out there is not extremely big. However, we're looking at every option we can for those courts. So.
and it's also used a lot by that neighborhood,
Oh, sure.
surrounding neighborhood, a lot. So we want to make sure that they're fully able, to play. So it should be a positive all the way around. We're hoping that it will be a draw because of having the only one. I don't know if Bryant, but I know from Little Rock North doesn't have one. And so we're hoping that will create a regional draw. It's more than just a little project in Sherwood. It actually turns into a regional project at that point.
The one thing I'd like for us to look at, I talked about an accessible playground. I think that's another term for them now, but for years they were called accessible playgrounds, but playground equipment that's accessible. And we talked about the fact that, we want to do that on a big scale with a large playground where we do everything accessible, so on and so forth. But I don't think that's not how it has to be, because when you were actually on the council, you talked about the fact that we don't have to have a big scale thing. You used to say we've got these swings that we can put in smaller playgrounds that allow, children with handicaps to swing, and we can put these in some of the smaller playgrounds. And you were right, we can, and we could do that now that you're mayor. It was a great idea, Councilman, and we could do that now too. The wheelchair accessible swings and other swings that are easier for a child who has disabilities, cerebral palsy or other disabilities, muscular dystrophy, any of those, or is wheelchair bound. And I'd like to look at trying to do some of that on a smaller scale as some of our smaller playgrounds. I'm going to really feel like I have failed our disabled community if I come off of here at the end of the year. In 18 years, I've been talking about let's do something accessible for children, and in 18 years, it's just fallen on deaf ears, and we haven't done a damn thing. It's going to bother me.
Yeah, and, certainly we can look at that. I think part of our hesitancy is when most of the playground equipment is not accessible, but you would know far better than I would. I mean, if it's acceptable to have something in a playground without it being all of it, then certainly we can look at that. The only problem is that we have not budgeted for that this year. So we would need to come back to the council to ask for additional funding to do something like that.
And what's important is what you put underneath the playground, because not everything is going to be wheelchair. It has to be padded, but it has to be solid.
Well, see, we just
And that's the
unloaded a
price.
whole lot of this playground mulch, to your point. And turf and retrofitting some of these is stuff that we've discussed, going back and putting turf surfaces under these playgrounds, just like it would be at a football field or a baseball field, allows for navigation a lot better. I'm not a big fan of the mulch, however, that's what we have at all ours, and we just reloaded those.
It's the cost thing. It's
yeah.
very
And
expensive.
I think what I would like to do then is also get some numbers on what it would take to retrofit some of these playgrounds that we have, and as we go forward, and I mean, to me personally, and the mayor knows, we've talked about this a lot. I'd like when you go to these newer playgrounds, it's either turf or that's pour and play or whatever it is.
I'm sorry, is that the kind of the rubbery stuff?
The mulch we have now, no, it's like mulch, but it's just playground mulch.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I mean, I've seen some of these
talking about
playgrounds
turf?
that are,
No, it looks
It's
like
like
ripped tires. It looks
tires.
like ripped tires.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's solid, but it's just.
No, that's
cushion.
what we're
That's
talking about.
the-
That's
more
like
the pour
it's
and
like
play.
pour and play. It's
Yeah, okay.
that surfaces, those surfaces are nice, and I mean you can walk up to them. There's a lower
Yeah.
on maintenance side of it.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
interrupt.
you're
I
fine,
just
but
wanted to say
that's
that
kind of
pour and play was
absolutely.
That's
and
the
it's-
direction we would
yeah.
like to go. It's just, it's been very cost prohibitive, and we felt pushback from the council when it came to the amount we were spending on parks. There was some pushback we felt last year, and so we tried to kind of dial back some, but certainly what we could do is, price it and bring it to the council and see if they would be willing to, provide extra money for something like that, because we don't have it budgeted for this year.
And even some of the stuff that we're doing now, like take Storer Park, the little playground that they have, it has an accessible ramp that leads into this mulch. However, the ramp isn't even connected to the trail that's out there. So you have no accessibility from the streets to the trail to the playground. So what
trying
we're
to
doing
fix
on
those things.
one of the deals right now is what we're doing is we're gonna connect the streets, because, I mean, it's not sidewalks, but pour concrete, connect the streets to the trails. We're gonna take out some portions of the trail, connect it to, the ramp at the very least, but then we're still running into the mulch situation, which is, it's kind of almost counterproductive without saying it.
It's still not accessible. If I'm in a
Correct.
wheelchair, I can't move it on the mulch.
Right.
Once I get to the playground, now I'm stuck again.
So I,
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
You know, I would much
exactly.
rather pay more money up front and do it right, because in the long run, you're gonna be spending more money as you add
To fix it later.
That's
So
right.
retrofit,
Yeah, and
the
if you look-
retrofit
Right
is,
first time, and it's done.
Yeah, you look at a lot of the playgrounds that are across the city, and they are not new.
Yeah,
and that's what
And we've
and that's
not
one of the things
built
I'm talking
any.
about when we talk about Cherrywood Park. There's a lot of wooded area. I don't know which direction that is on
yeah.
a,
Now, some of that's gonna be
but-
parking lot.
right, well, yeah, some of it will. We don't need a huge parking lot there. But there's a large wooded area there to the right, a lot of land there to the right that where additional
Yeah, even if
playground
we-
equipment.
Well,
stuff-
and if we talked about doing things in phases, and playground was one thing we discussed, if it come, down the road. With that, it also, because that one's it's not a very new one, and what we would do is if we could clear that, take all that out, that would be a nice starting point with our new facility that we have out there. So there was a lot of different layers of the things we were wanting to do with it this year, but the playground issue right next to, that kind of goes along with the theme that we're doing out there as well. If we take that playground out down the road and start with the, we can, I mean, it doesn't have to be huge, but there will be enough land next to where it is now, where the parking lot is built, but, I mean, it'll be a different phase, but I think that's doable as
And
well.
we have the opportunity too, to go back to the organization that we got this grant from and say, okay, we've completed this, and now we want
Want-
to add to by,
Right.
putting in some handicap accessible,
Right.
Equipment.
That would be great.
And so, I mean, those are kind of,
I'd just love to get it on the radar screen somewhere,
Sure.
anywhere, and try to make it one of our priorities.
Yeah, and it is, and that's with the retrofitting of some of these things, we're gonna have to really, I think it'd be easier for us to bring the numbers of what's been, that's gonna cost, to kind of retrofit some of those. Because really, we spent, I think it was almost $7,000 on this mulch, somewhere in that neighborhood for all the playgrounds.
That's not much.
No, it's not much, but then that could, for one, retrofit one, and then we gradually get to where they're caught up on the turf, and then we cycle those out, and it's time to, as we get these done, then it's time to come back and fix, repair these.
we'll have to see how much it is. I would suspect to go back and redo a playground and do it correctly, it's gonna be way more than 7,000. But I think if we plan for it, and certainly as, like Miller's Glen, there's, we've got land out there to develop, and that's an opportunity to kind of do some things and do it the way we want to, on the front end. It does get to be really hard when you go in, and because we have so many pocket parks everywhere. But one of the things that we are doing is we're putting in, like Mommy and Me swings. So certainly that's been that was an ask, and that was, big improvement. And that's something that's, as long as the swing set's big enough, you can put those in, you can retrofit that, but that doesn't necessarily help the situation if
Right.
people can lift up,
Right.
but
All right,
we'll do our best.
I appreciate it. Moving along, Blake?
Trail updates, does it?
I wasn't sure what all you meant in terms of trail updates. We've got, out in Indian Head Park, there was a grant that had been applied for, and we had accepted before I came into office. And it was a big surprise to both of us out at Indian Head. Surprise! No, fix it. So anyway, that has been put out to bid. It came in under the amount we needed to. So all that's, in the works, and that'll be a big, walking trail loop, which I think is good because,
Are they getting started on that this year?
oh yeah.
That's what I was about to
Yeah,
say.
it's
this
it's
year
already
thing.
been awarded. And then it's an RDOT thing, so you have to go through, you have to go through he's working for RDOT now, so many layers, with RDOT. So, the Bear Davidson handled that end for us, and he had engineered it, and so, the company, is Premier Contractors or something like that. But anyway, he had just worked with them on a project in Searcy. He said they did a really good job, so he was very comfortable with the low bid on that, and that we would get good quality work. And so then we accepted, it has to go to RDOT, and then RDOT has to sign off on some stuff, and it comes back. It's a lot of back and forth. But anyway, it is moving forward, and I think, especially in that area where, I think it's feasible in phases to eventually get the the roads with the most traffic, kind of the outside loop areas, because it's a big, cut-through area with some sidewalks and so forth. But trying to do everything that would just be a huge undertaking. And we have so many areas that need sidewalks, but at least people in that neighborhood can get to the park and have an area that they could safely walk in. So we've got that going, and then we're waiting to see where we are expense-wise on this park before we get too heavily into our planning of the mountain bike trails and off of Miller's Road. But looking at that land, there's so much of it that I think that we have enough space to do several different runs and do kind of like a beginner and intermediate, advanced type of a thing. We really need for Finley to go and take a look at it. There's a potential trails grant that we're looking at, but I need him to lay eyes on it to say, yes, this would be good. Because we need to probably have a bathroom area, and we need to have parking so that,
I think kind of what I was looking for, and that's good, I didn't know about that one, but I think what I was looking for, when we were having public hearings on parks, we were simultaneously having public hearings on the trail program.
Okay, so you're talking about the bike ped?
Bike ped
Yes.
trails,
Okay.
and we spent a lot of money with an engineering firm on the bike ped trails, and then it just seems to have fallen off the radar, and I haven't heard a thing about it
Sure.
in a long time. And considering the
Want an
money and
update?
time we've got invested in it, I thought it would be good to find out what's happening with it and why it
Okay.
just kind of
We've
fell
got,
off.
so right now, we received a series of grants for engineering, and then, and that was broken into 2 phases. And I'm talking about the Power Line Easement Trail, which will connect the Land Trip Road area near Clinton Elementary School.
And then it goes
and-
down towards Club, and then in that area follows the power lines.
It follows the power line to Keel, it crosses Keel, and then it goes down towards Maryland, crosses Maryland, and then it gets to Brockington. And so that was broken into 2 engineering grants, and then we received a construction grant. Right now, they're in the right-of-way acquisition phase of it, and we're hoping to be able to start construction this year. Once again, it's an RDOT affiliated grant. Love RDOT, I'm not trying to be critical of RDOT, but you have to jump through a lot more hoops. And then from there, it'll cross Brockington. We're going to use the existing Gap Creek Road as a shared roadway to get to the Austin Lakes Park. And then from there, it goes around the back and we got an engineering grant. I've been kind of waiting in terms of the assignment. That will come before council, the official accepting of the grant. But that was a big deal because that engineering is going to be very expensive because you're dealing with wetlands, levees, those type of things. But that will be our connection to Jacksonville. The other way, we've got some obstacles in terms of, with North Little Rock, the regional trail is going to come around the airport and will connect Maryland. The obstacles that we are dealing with is there's a lot of landowners to get it underneath Keel, around, utilize the Henson trails and so forth. So if one of those ends up refusing to deal with the city, it could end up like all that could be for naught type of a thing. So I've started talking to some of the individual landowners to get their temperature on, would you agree to this, would you not agree to this, and so forth. Because I don't want us to like spend money on right-of-way acquisition to hit a major roadblock, and then, you know, council's got to have that political will to then go through the roadblock, and you know,
Is it still
I'm trying to
following?
be careful.
Is it still following Woodruff Creek along go in that direction?
That's the hope, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that would be the hope, but not, and we've looked at several different options. I mean, Woodruff Creek in terms of getting to Lee, I think it is.
Lee to Keel. It takes you behind, it follows Lee and then cuts across at the
Yes.
Low Bridge. Yeah.
Yes, but we're not gonna be going through like the Sanders property and that type of a thing. So we were looking at a more direct and then going down Club Road since the houses are set so far back and then jumping over again. We'll just have to see, you know, Mark Osborne owns a bunch of that land and he's not sure if that's what he wants or not. So anyway, we have some obstacles. The other thing is to go across Maryland and jump on the existing bike lane to get to the power line easement and so forth. I think, honestly, I feel like until we get that first bike ped built and people experience it and see the value in it, I think that's the biggest obstacle. Right now, he can tell you, I have nothing but fear out there from, you know, some people. I was at a homeowners meeting this week with Leonard, and some of the things that said really surprised me, but I was talking to one gentleman afterwards, and I said, you know, because it's the fear of all these terrible things will happen if a trail comes through your area, and I said, have you ever been on the Henson Trail? Because we're not experiencing any of this on the Henson Trail, and they've been there a really long time. And he said, I've never heard of the Henson Trail. And I'm like, you need to get to the other side of town and walk it. It's beautiful, and people love it, and it's so valued, you know. So I think it's just people need to actually experience them, and that's why it's just.
They're afraid it's going to bring crime or what? I mean.
Go ahead, Leonard, you were there.
Yeah, so it was a Gap Creek HOA meeting, which I'm on that board as well. It was kind of confusing for me as well, because I'm like, what do we, the fear, I guess, is they're assuming that with the bike trail is going to bring more traffic, more people. So Gap Creek is essentially hidden. Like, most people don't even know we exist. But their fear is if we put a bike trail back here, now people are riding back here. And I mean, I said even kind of back in the mayor, like, we're not talking about mom and pop and a kid riding these trails, which they will be, but we're talking about this is a for real bike trail. These will be serious bikers. Like, you know, their heads are down and they're hauling tail through the bike trail. They're not stopping and looking at your backyard, and this is not that crowd. Now, there will be some neighborhood people. I mean, I take my girls out and we ride bikes and we go down trails, but I don't know. It, quite honestly, I think it's just the fear of something new, because I don't see any bad from a bike trail. I don't see any I don't see any, I mean, the possibility is always there, but the bike trail is not going to be the catalyst that turns around, that makes your property value drop. A bike trail adds value to any neighborhood or any community. So
But you have a certain faction that do not believe that.
Well, I was going to say, there's data nationally
There's
that
lots of
land that backs up to a bike ped trail increases in value
Yes.
by virtue of
Tremendously.
the existence of the bike ped trail.
And the reality, which is just one of those things that bike trails are coming. For years I worked at the airport, and that was the fear of, when they brought that trail through there, but they're coming. The entire state is actually, if you look at what has happened as far as bike trails, and, it's more mountain biking, but Northwest Arkansas, the bike trails are one of their biggest draws. People are coming for these bike trails. So I don't know. I think we're just, the change. Right now, my house backs up to the walking trail, the gravel trail, and there are people constantly on bikes there. And I said that in the meeting, and people were looking at me like, really? I'm like, yes, I live on the trail. Like, it's my fence trail. So I see bikes zooming by all the time.
Mountain bikes.
Yeah, mountain bikes,
Yeah.
because it's gravel, but I see them all the time. So I don't, for me, it changes absolutely nothing. I live on a trail already. So it doesn't change anything for me.
Yeah.
I just think it's time, and I think that once, and I have been like, y'all should hear me on the phone, because it's like, please, what do I need to do to get things moving faster? And it's just the way it is. You have to negotiate with each individual, property owner and so forth. But I just can't get it built fast enough so that people will experience and go, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So it's just going to take time, and but we'll get there. So
We need to get larger groups, sample groups from different parts of the city to do that ride that we did in Northwest Arkansas. Get some sample groups from different
if you'll pay
neighborhoods.
for it, that'd be great, Charlie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was going to let you pay for it.
Yeah, no.
All right, let's go ahead and do the program updates.
I just wanted to update on some of the programs we're working on within the Parks Department. We've got a lot of cool new ideas and things coming our way this month in particular. We started registration today for youth kickball. We're going to do it out at the softball fields. The age range is 4 to 6th grade. We've toured around with adult kickball leagues, but we're going to start with the youth kickball leagues. We want more options. Tommy, who runs our basketball league, is going to he's going to head that up. And that registration hit today, and we're excited about having that go. We also have something coming at the Bill Harmon Rec Center, skate night. You bring your own skates. We're going to turn that into a skating rink. We've talked about various places that we could potentially have a skate night. There's a company that allows, or you rent the skates through them. It's quite expensive right now, so we're gonna test run this a few times, see what kind of interest we have. But I think it's gonna be very interesting. We're talking about some concession ideas and things that we can do out there, so we're excited about that one. Bingo night at the Durant Youth Center. Ronia's done a fantastic job of programming that place up to where she has people coming, school age all the way up. She got the homeschool that comes in during the day. She's doing a great job out there. Day camp registration opens Monday for the summer camp out at Sherwood Forest. Alex has his tennis spring break camp that starts the 18th. They're still registering for that out at the tennis center. Swim lessons during spring break with Hannah. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. That's just this month. We also have an individual who's coming up with different ideas, and she came and met with me last week and has a couple ideas of a Bago League at the rec center as well. Cornhole, Bago, however it's termed. And then she kind of put a rough draft of her program that she'd like to do for kids 3 to 5 during the day, a monthly program. She's got it called right now, This is all subject to change, but the Little Bears program, it's kind of a sports sampler program for kids 3 to 5 during the school day when, you know, if they can sign up, and also possibly during the summer, if it doesn't impact summer camp out there and her duties out there. But it's a month-long program where each week they do a different activity. They come in and do different games, different sports, and things of that nature. She's done a really good job, and she's gonna continue to look to develop more programming for us to offer. So I think we're really excited about where we're heading with programming and getting more options out there for people to do. So it's gonna be pretty cool. So.
And I'd just like to say, we're encouraging our Parks employees to, you know, this was a Parks employee who had experienced a program similar to this and an internship in Benton. And it's like, bring it, bring your ideas. You know, we're open to them, and I feel like the more activities we can provide for the youth, the less likely they are to get in trouble. So we're trying to, you know, volleyball, now we've got kickball. We'd like to eventually get flag football, so just the more the better. So, and then just to reiterate, we've got the concert series coming up. We're really excited about that. We've got 2 Easter egg hunts. One, the sensory-friendly Easter egg hunt, which will be out at the tennis center. And then we've got the city one that will be, you know, out here at City Hall. There's a 5K that day, which we're excited about. I got contacted Friday from another organization affiliated in Sherwood that is interested in putting on a 5K. I think that's really cool. The more things we can do to get Sherwood moving, the better. I like the fact that that's spreading. So I was like, well, which route would you like? Because we actually have 2 routes now, which is cool. And then we start the concert series in April. Every single month, beginning this month, there will be some type of activity up here on this campus for people to come and do that are free for families and so forth.
Concerts or something.
Yep, concerts, dive-in movie at the pool. We'll have the Night to Unite, which is our first responders. We're going to do, you know, a festival with that.
Is that the one that used to be the,
Used to be National Night Out.
National Night Out,
And we're
yeah.
expanding that. And then, you know, Winterfest, which will be up here. So we're really excited with how everything's going. We actually got a piece of artwork that was donated to go along with our pickleball. It's a pickleball player, so that will be installed. So it's an exciting time in Sherwood.
it does sound exciting.
Now, I did leave one out. At the Durand Youth Center Wednesday is a kindness rock garden. Bring your family to join the Girl Scouts in creating a kindness garden. They can create their own rocks and put them in that garden, so it's pretty cool too. So
Cool.
And
a lot of cool stuff going on.
One other thing, we will be having a Mayor's Youth Council. They'll start registration for that, I believe, at the end of April, and it'll start in August. So super excited to bring that back as well.
I was on the
Sounds good.
first one.
Any new business?
I think we told you.
I have a question. I think, Blake, you and I had talked about this before, about the speed cushions going up into the baseball field on, not Bear Paw, but
DJ.
DJ Hudson.
DJ Hudson. Driven that a million times. Are we getting somewhere with
Well, that's
that?
what I started with, that we're putting that, it's like we have over here. This table, you know, the table.
Concrete
Oh,
table.
did
No,
I
we're
just completely
putting one,
miss
we're
that? I'm
gonna, that
sorry.
should be probably within a couple of weeks, we're gonna have one of those that's right out front. We're moving the walkway
Between
down
the two
to.
buildings,
Yeah,
so
the
it'll be a
office
pedestrian
building.
walkway.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yes.
so pedestrian, we're moving the walkway that goes down there now, it's just, it doesn't fit in line with the walkway, so we're moving that over, and we're gonna have it go down into a, you know, raised walkway to slow that traffic. So we signed off on that, today, and.
Sorry.
No, that'll be done probably within the next couple of weeks.
Good,
Yep,
good.
so it's there.
We're just gonna have one?
Yeah.
We're gonna have,
It's just gonna be, and the easiest way to do it was a walkway to make sure that people got from the office as well, and it's gonna be, but it's one of these bigger ones, so.
so it's gonna be further, it's gonna be.
It's
by
gonna be
the-
right in front of the office.
Okay. So down where the T-ballers are, we'll have nothing there.
Not currently, I mean, if we need to do another one, we can,
I
but,
would like to, you don't have to do one like that.
Yeah.
But maybe one that we have in the neighborhood.
well, those won't qualify based on, I think there's, y'all got a qualification system to get the speed bumps up,
I
correct? Or-
think, we own that,
We do own it,
We
so,
do.
so I don't
We
know
could do
that, but yeah, so I don't think it would have
That's
to go
just been my
through.
fear for 100
Qualifications.
years is, you know, kids, when they don't slow down until they get to that because they know it's there. And a lot of times these now
Yeah.
3 and 4 year olds, man, they just take off and go. And
yeah.
thank God we've not had an issue and I
No,
hate
we
to
can
be
definitely put them out. I
reactive.
mean, I'm good for with what, if you want to put them leading into the, you know, kind of around up there on the top side too, because there's, you know, at the end of those games, those kids are taking
No,
off.
that's
during-
exactly right, yeah, and that is even tighter
Well,
up
and then
there
the
on
lighting,
top.
I mean, yeah, we got, I
You
mean,
know,
there's a whole lot of stuff on our list, but even if we do stuff up
If you'll show
there.
me, then I can address that with Brian, exactly where
You'll see,
you want 'em.
when we have a, you'll see what he's talking about, when we have a tournament or something, people, the cars are really close together.
Well, they're also parking down there at the
But I'm
school.
talking about on the upper side where you're
Yeah.
talking about, it's, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry, down there.
Yeah.
But they're close together, and kids dart out there and they go pretty fast.
Okay, you're not talking about the T-ball side now, you're
But-
talking about the
well, no,
other
we-
I'm talking
side?
about the,
There's also
the
some at the
upper.
top.
Okay, yeah, you'll
upper-
have
I'll show
to
you.
show
Yeah,
me.
I'll
I
show
know
you.
the
No problem.
T-ball side where you're talking about, but I wasn't sure on the other. One of the things on this Little Bear program that we're excited about is by introducing kids to baseball, to pickleball, to get them excited about wanting to do these sports, So that's part of this Little Bears program is, give them a little bit of exposure to wet that whistle, of, hey, this is fun, I want to do this, so.
I think that little kickball program is going.
I think it's,
bigger.
yeah, my son, he's,
Yeah.
We
I
hope
gotta
so.
convince him.
Getting them excited about it, I always tell a story about Ashby when he played, when you start in that first year of T-ball, they don't keep score, and he got to that year where they started keeping score, and his little team was doing really well, and they'd gone about 3 or 4 games, and they hadn't lost a game yet, and we got in the car and we were headed home, and he said, "Daddy?" And I said, "What's up, bud?" And he said, "I just gotta tell you, baseball's a lot more fun when you keep score."
Yeah.
Yeah,
They keep score anyway, usually they're like, yeah,
Moms and daddies
Or whatever,
do,
but
Yeah,
it's
that's for
just,
sure.
I've got a quick question. What's the age group on the Mayor's Youth Council?
I believe that's gonna be 9th up.
Okay.
But a lady came to me, I'd been wanting to do this, but it's like we had the tornado and just all sorts of things. But her son is involved with the North Little Rock Youth Council, Mayor's Youth Council, and they actually asked her to take it over, and she was like, I live in Sherwood. So she came to me, and she's a stay-at-home parent. She's super organized and has lots of time and to run it. And she's like, "Would you at all be interested in this?" And I was like, "Would I?" And so Rania is going to be the city sponsor for it, and they'll have their meetings over at the youth center. Another appropriate place, but man, you should see, she's already got their binders ready and their packets, and I mean, we're already, working on the different projects. Like one of their projects is going to be, we're going to be doing a big daffodil planting in the fall up here at City Hall, so that we can create places for people come spring to take pictures with their families, beautification project, and partnering with Keep Sherwood Beautiful. So I want things to where they'll feel it's impactful, so they can see a difference and go, I did that,
You will enjoy that. My dad enjoyed working with his youth councils a lot, so.
we went to
you-
DC with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Couple
well,
different
as Tab
trips.
said, it's like, oh gosh, now she's got like another group of swimmers. It's gonna be like that all over again. But anyway, I'm excited.
It's a good program. It started out at the youth center, the first time it was there too, so it's a good fit.
Anybody else got any questions, anything they want to bring up? Old business, new business? All right, anybody have any announcements? Mayor's certainly run out of announcements by now.
I kind of use that with the programs myself as well, so.
All right. And a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right.